Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down.
Hello everybody and welcome to my video today. I'm straightening up my camera there, and then we are going to make some cards, and I have not made cards in a very long time, and you're going to see that it is sort of a hot mess in a minute. I want to use these stamps that I got from Illustrated Faith. I just talked about these yesterday, and they are the Snowflake set. I have some pattern paper from Stampin' Up! From several years ago, and then I have some craft cardstock that is, I'm not sure where it's from. It was in a pack, and the top of it is perforated, so it has this little perforated spot, and then it was together, like, I think it was like a pack of 50. I think I might have picked it up at Walmart a few years ago. It's just some regular craft cardstock. It's more of the authentic craft style. You can see it sort of rolls up on itself, and it has that paper bag look to it. I just have had this, I don't know, this fun desire to use craft stuff. I don't know. I saw some product in my office at some point and thought it would be really fun to use. And so I've used some of it in my December daily this year. And if you're not checking out my blog posts for December daily, you will want to do that, because I am at the end of every blog post sharing my December daily page for this year. I'm doing it digitally. So I am creating the pages in my Project Life app, and then I'm sending them to my computer and doing some fun stuff in PicMonkey and adding some background digital paper. I've been sharing them also on my Facebook page for Life Simply Crafted. I am pretty up to date with them over there sharing. So just in case you're wanting to see what I'm doing this year for December daily, that is where I'm doing that. So I'm taking the perforated edge off, and then I'm slicing a like sliver off that top so that perforated edge doesn't show. And then the first card I'm going to make is going to be a regular 4 4¼ by 5½, like a standard size card. And then I wanted to make a 5x7 card. Now I feel like 5x7 cards are way more appealing and look so much better than the standard size card, that 4¼ by 5½. I just feel like that's one of the reasons, like, I never really loved making cards. Well, I like making cards, but then I never really gave a lot of cards out, and I always just felt like they looked like the cards that I made. Some of it is like I'm just not a card maker, so I don't make great cards, but I just always felt like they looked really cheap, and like they weren't, yeah, they were homemade. I guess that's the appeal of them, but I just see so many other people make such gorgeous homemade cards, and I just don't know how to do that. But what I have found is if I do a 5x7 card, I feel so much better about it. I don't know what that is. I don't know why. I just like that look better. I feel like it's more of like the size you get when you go get a greeting card at the store. So I don't know. I just feel like it is better somehow. So I will end up doing a 5x7 card. What I'm really sad about is because I'm so out of practice filming the process of card making, I end up not hitting record for basically the entire portion of the 5x7 card, which came out way cuter than the standard size card. So I will show you them both, but I'm really sad that I lost the footage on that. So I just did both sizes, and then I'm going to do some simple layering. The regular size card, I am going to use the pattern paper. Again, this is pattern paper from Stampin' Up! Quite a while ago. I really struggled with the cardstock, this craft cardstock, the way it curled, and I will end up using a lot of foam to place this down, but I did struggle quite a bit. I could have ran it through my Big Shot and flattened it. I've done that before. Or if I had had time, I could have put it like in a book or something overnight and left it flat. I've also seen people where they will dampen the cardstock and then put it like in a book or something to flatten it. It just was really, it rolled really badly. It just is the weight of this cardstock. So here's the 2 pieces of pattern paper. Again, they're from Stampin' Up. I love these designs. It has a retro feel to it, definitely, but it has those classic red and green colors, which, if you followed me for very long, you will know that when it comes to Christmas, I'm very traditional. I love the reds and the greens, and I don't do the pinks and the purples and the blues very often for Christmas. So these are perfect. They go with the craft cardstock really well. So I'm just cutting this down to size. I left this at the normal speed. I did not speed this up. So this is how long and how I really work. So the first thing I did is I just trimmed the card bases down, and then now I'm going in and trimming all of my layers, and then I will work on the cards individually. The other thing that I used for this is I had those snowflakes that I used for the Christmas tags last week. I had those laying on my desk, and so I just used those, and it actually came out really cute. These are those right there. I had just had them sitting there, and I hadn't used them for anything yet. So I'm going to go ahead and use those for the first card. So the first card, the card base is the standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I did a top down fold. That's my favorite fold. And then I am going to add the layers. So the first pattern paper layer is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And then my second craft layer will be 5 by 3 3/4. So I just kept it really simple, and I took a 1/4 inch off. And then with the 5 by 7 card, I just did a 1/4 inch off the front. So that will be the panel, which you'll see. So here I am just sort of bending that cardstock again. I feel like when I'm doing the card, I am thinking that maybe once I get a few more layers onto the card, it will flatten up like I need it to. It did, but it didn't. Again, I probably should have. I was crunched for time the day that I was crafting this, which is probably the other reason I forgot to turn the camera on when I was doing the 5 by 7. I was doing all this heat embossing. I had the gold embossing powder out. I was really having fun, but I was under a time crunch to get to the school. Then I dropped that, and it went on there crooked. Luckily, it came right off the craft cardstock. It pulled right up, even though I'm using a very aggressive adhesive. So I will center that, and then I'll put the craft on there, and then we'll add the snowflakes. So this week for Craftmas, yesterday you saw my small Illustrated Faith haul, which is where these stamps came from. These snowflakes are from Illustrated Faith, and I really loved them and wanted to do a card. And then I also shared a couple more scrappy spiral notebooks that I got from HEPA over at HEPA Creates, and I linked all of that yesterday. I am going to be talking soon about the way that I am changing up, or kind of adding. I'm not really changing anything up. I'm just adding to the way that I am memory keeping and scrapbooking. I will, of course, be doing my family album. I'm going to be sharing my title page. In the month of January, I will be spending a little bit of time getting caught up on all my projects, like wrapping them all up. I did this last year, and it just was really nice to have the month of January to wrap up any projects that I had that needed to be completed. So instead of feeling like January 1st, you have to start a brand new project, or you have to get your family album going, or these memory keeping projects, you have to start strong at the very 1st of January. You might want to just give yourself some time to wrap up some crafting projects. I always do another good cleanup of my office. I did that at the beginning of December, and I shared that with you guys. And then I will, at the beginning of January, after all the family goes home for Christmas and the kids go back to school, we always have that first week of January off, and I do nothing. It's the only time of the year that I really take the time to do nothing and really be on vacation. So when I come back at the that after that first week, I will go ahead and get my office cleaned up, and then the month of January I will focus on getting projects wrapped up. So any journaling left that I need to do, wrapping up December daily, wrapping up my December my Project Life album, I'll do all of that. And then in February or towards the end of January, you'll see my Project Life, the start of my Project Life album, my title page. I will definitely be sharing what projects I'm adding, how I'm doing one little word, and all of that. And that it will come like in the middle of January or so, and you'll see. So I had a Christmas stamp set. It's an old one from Stampin' Up! That I had not even used, and I just cut the sticker out and placed it on the stamp. I always trim around my stamps because I want them to come off my clear block really easy, and I want to be able to center them properly. And sometimes when you just stick them on there with the sticker and you don't trim them up, the sticker will hang over the stamp or it just gets a little bit crooked. So I have found if you just trim out around your stamped image or your sentiment and then place it on the stamp, it tends to look a little bit better. It will come off that block easier and you will be able to get it straight on your stamp. Now, with red rubber stamps, I always look at the stamp underneath. I look at it before I stamp, and I see sometimes it gets printed crooked, or it's not, or it's lower on the actual rubber piece. And so the way I stamp and the way I get a straight image is by making sure I understand how the stamp is printed, and then I line things up based on the stamp, not the sticker, because I don't even always get the sticker on there straight. And you can see that's not perfectly straight. It is still a little bit tilted, but I never go by the sticker. I always go by the way the image actually is on the red rubber. I stamped with white ink, and then I am putting white embossing powder over the top of it. And then I'm just brushing away where I got white embossing powder outside of the sentiment. I just brush that off. I'm using I think it's called Snappy Tray is what it's called. And it just snaps together. I got mine on Amazon years and years ago. I believe I have it linked in my Amazon storefront under tools. At one point it was out of stock on Amazon, but it might have come back. So you can check that out if you're looking for something similar. I really like it. I like the size of it. It's nice and large. And then you can see I just emboss over it, and then you can pour the embossing powder right back into your container. I'm just using plain white. I did have some glitter white embossing powder, which I end up using on the snowflakes when I stamp out all the snowflakes, but you won't see that because I didn't film it. But that is what I used. It didn't turn out as great. Like, it didn't show up that much. The sparkling part of it didn't really show up that much on the card. But if you stamped on the darker cardstock, it probably would. So I let my heat tool heat up, and then I just held that to the sentiment until it melted, until all of that melted. And then I did a little bit of heat on the front and a little bit of heat on the back. Again, you can see it's very curled, and that was already happening. That didn't have anything to do with the heat. But sometimes the heat can do that. But if you just do front and back, then a lot of times you can fix that. So I put adhesive at the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to press that down. Again, my sentiment is slightly crooked, but nothing horrible. Like, it was definitely fine. I should have put adhesive all around the edges, like the top and the bottom, like I did, but then I should have put it on the sides. You can see that kind of curls up and creates like a little bubble. Again, if I run this through my if I run it through my Big Shot, it would flatten it out. See here, I just added some more adhesive when I realized it was bubbling. On the 5x7 card, I ended up adding a ton of foam to hold it down. And then I'm going to add glue dots here to these snowflakes. Again, these came directly off the tags that I created. They just were still sitting on my desk. And originally I was going to I was going to stamp those snowflakes in this pattern with gold embossing powder on top of the craft, but I ended up just using those because they were sitting on my desk. So then let me explain to you what I did. So I'm going to add some white dash lines around this card. I'm using the Jelly Roll pen. If you use the size 10, it gives you a really nice dash line, and that's what I'm going to do around this. So what I ended up doing with the 5x7 card that's going to come up in a minute is I laid the piece that is going to go on top of my card in my MISTI. I laid out all of the snowflakes and then I stamped them in white ink, and then I used that glitter embossing powder and I put that over the card. So I wanted snowflakes basically creating like they were falling down the edge of the card. So then I stamped them in white. I used the glitter embossing powder, and then this is how the snowflakes came out. Now I did go in and I added some detail with my white gel pen, like filling in a couple of the snowflakes. I stopped doing that because I just felt like the stamping was not, the embossing powder was not great. The glitter was not great on this cardstock. And then I stamped in red and cherry cobbler. I stamped that greeting and it came out straighter than my other one, but I just did that in the MISTI for the snowflakes. And then I was able to stamp them a couple times. And then what I did is I went in with this sequence, and it's like a teal, a red, and a silver, and I sprinkled them across the card. So for this part, I'm talking so much with my hands because I had done the talking part in real time. But I took that out so I could do a voiceover, so I could explain why. I didn't know at this point that I had not filmed the entire process of the 5x7 card. So at this point, I'm talking through different things that I did and you didn't see any of them. So I really like the way the Illustrated Faith stamps stamped. I'm really very impressed by their stamps. I know I said in yesterday's video that I wasn't positive how these stamps were going to work. And at the time I filmed that part of the video, I wasn't. It wasn't until several weeks later that I made these cards. It just so happened that the video of the haul and the video of this card, they were one right after another. So I wasn't positive, but I really do like the way they stamped. They were really sturdy. I felt like they stamped really good. They were clinging to my MISTI really, really well. I didn't have any issues with that, and they cleaned up really well, and they went back on the plastic very well. So I really liked it. These snowflakes are beautiful. I think they are such a beautiful set, and you will be able to use them year after year after year because it's not a specific set. You know, it's just snowflakes, so you can use that in the winter time, and I think it's beautiful. So this week we had the Illustrated Faith haul yesterday. We have these cards today. I'm going to do a little mini project tomorrow in my craft room and share a tip for you using page protectors, which I'm very excited about. And then I am hoping that at the end of the week, you're going to see me wrap up my journaling for July, August, and September for Project Life. I have photos to order for November, and then that's going to be it. My December will just be my December countdown, which I've been doing, and we'll share at the end of the week in case you would like to see that. My just countdown to Christmas is filling up really nicely. So this, I'm just talking about the jelly roll and how I do the dash lines. I just do dash lines. They're super easy. If you use the size 10 jelly roll, it is a lot better. The one I was using was the size 8 and it works great, but the size 10 gives you a very bold look. And if you have been around this year, you know I am embracing my love of dash lines and I'm doing them on everything. I used to hold back a little bit doing these because in the past I've had people kind of make fun of me that I do it all of the time, and then I felt bad, like there should be some kind of variety, and if, you know, I should figure something else out to do. But if you love something, then do it. If you like a card that you made, just make that card again, make that design again. If you like a scrapbooking layout that you've done, do, you know, scrap lift yourself, you know, copy a card that you've already done yourself, particularly when it's really busy like it is right now for Christmas and you might be feeling a little crafty and you want to do something a little different, or you want to just get creative or just crafty. Just do something you've already done, and then sometimes that will spark the creativity. So I really like the way the 5x7 card turned out. It is my favorite, but I really loved using the leftover snowflakes from the tags. And like I said, this was all in real time, other than the snowflake. The 5x7 card did take me probably a good 20 minutes because I double stamped, I used the glitter, I did all of those things. So thank you guys so much for joining me for Craftmas, and I will catch you in tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. There are 2 other videos here on the screen that you can check out. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That helps YouTube be kind to me, and I would love it if they would be kind to me this Christmas season. I hope you're all having a wonderful start to December, and I will catch you in my next Craftmas video.